Hello! Today's been a bit of a slow news day so far, but I thought I'd bring to your attention a very minute little story which has been developing in a place called Wigtownshire. Now, I'm well aware that this sounds like yet another one of those made-up British places, much like recently when I talked about Chisenbury Midden. Someone said that they expect it to be followed by something like flibbity flobbity blue. And I can see what you mean, I definitely can. Not least because it just sounds, it's like something out of Lord of the Rings, or or something a little bit quaint. Yes, some teenagers have knocked over a bin in Shaftesbury, that kind of thing. It doesn't quite sound real. And if you know who said that, feel free to comment. But nonetheless, it's a real place, Wigtownshire, and there's a debate at the moment with regards to wind farms and the use thereof, in terms of obviously helping the environment by producing renewable, or well, I suppose not even renewable, it's just constantly blowing sort of electricity, and people living in the area, but also as well actually archaeological monuments. Now, I suspect in this instance, the people living in the area are invoking the archaeological monuments as a way to get their way. But it does raise a very interesting little question, and I suppose if anyone has any views on this out there, please do feel free to comment. And that is, should archaeology stand in the way of of renewable energy sources, of attempts to make our use of fossil fuels a little less, as it were? Because if you think about it, archaeologists, if nothing else, is very aware of the environment. They are very aware of the effect that the past environments have had on people, and surely archaeologists, therefore, should be fairly aware of how important it is to look after our environment now, so that we don't, end up causing something too adverse. Now, obviously, there is the flip side of the coin. Archaeologists are also very well aware of the way that people have adapted to past shifts in the environment. But I suppose, it's one of those moral things, isn't it? Should we, not that in this instance it necessarily is, but this is just a hypothetical question, should we, if, for example, a wind farm was suggested very close to a Neolithic monument, or maybe a Bronze Age burial mound, or even a castle, like a 13th century castle, should we oppose it on the grounds of it being aesthetically displeasing, assuming that the archaeology, underneath it, that there's nothing of significance, that they can install these things, is the aesthetics, is the impact on an ancient landscape enough to warrant it not going ahead? What is the value of history in that respect? Is it a postcard? Is it something which is there to be researched, or is it actually something which, by virtue of learning from it, we know that perhaps having a wind farm isn't a bad idea, as it were, is the lesser of two evils? I don't know. Also as well, actually, but worthwhile bearing in mind that pollution from fossil fuels damages structures. It's damaging many sandstone structures, things like, for example, the pyramids. It damages, very close to me, a castle called Rhuddlan Castle not me now, me when I was growing up. It's actually causing the lower portion of the castle to disintegrate, so eventually it's just collapsing on itself. So that's the other aspect as well, actually, that pollution can actively damage archaeological monuments. So maybe a wind farm is helping not to damage them. So anyway, I just thought I'd just talk about this, just because it's been a bit of a slow news day, but also, actually, I thought it's worthwhile thinking about. It's a good question. What obligation do archaeologists have to today's environment? Anyway, I am going to leave it there. And if you have any comments, feel free to comment below. If you want to have a look at the story that this has come from, just go to the link below. But it's not really an archaeological story. It's just the community invoking archaeology essentially as another bit of ammunition in their argument, really, against the wind farm. So, until next time, thank you.